All right, May. What you set up for? What it look like? I don't know what you're getting ready to make here. So what is this?
Wonton. This is the wonton wrapper. I like the thin ones. You see how thin they are? I don't know if you can see or not. I like the thin ones. I don't like to eat blankets.
Uh-huh.
So if you're interested in making wonton, make sure you get the Shanghai style or Hong Kong style. And I see here say Shanghai style. And I think the Hong Kong style is actually the same thing except it looks like yellowish, you know. But the main reason is that they are thin, you know. I hate thick wonton skin. I feel like I'm eating nothing but a blanket.
What kind of wontons you making today?
I am making pork and shrimp wonton. I got 2 pounds of shrimp right here, 2 pounds of pork, ground pork here, and then I have chopped green onion. I got I got carrots and regular onion and garlic in there, chopped garlic, and then I have some ginger water. Then I have soy sauce, sesame oil, black pepper. Some people prefer the white pepper, but white pepper is hard to come by right now, so I'll substitute for the black pepper. And then the Himalayan sea salt. And then here is some pork broth, pork bone broth. And then a little bit of a dry gin. It actually enhanced the shrimp flavor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get drunk off of it, right?
No, you can't because I'm going to put just a dash of it. So first I'm going to put this in my food processor. And I'm going to have to probably do it in 2 different batch because I only got a small food processor. And pulse that. Usually they don't do a very good job because when you don't have enough stuff in there. And then a couple handful of green onion. And then now sorry, I'm looking for my spatula, rubber spatula. You put shrimp in there. I think I'm going to have to do it in 2 different, maybe 4 different batch. We'll see. It starts to kind of making a paste out of it. And you know, with the wonton, you could do strictly shrimp. You could do shrimp and pork, or you could do just pork and meat. As far as meat goes, you could use. Some people like beef, some people like chicken, you know, whatever. But personally, I grew up used to eating pork wonton, so that's all I like.
You say you're going to do both pork and shrimp together?
Yeah. I actually do like them combined. And also, this is almost the same way, that same mixture that you could use for make shrimp ball. Let's see if I could get away with that. Maybe otherwise I'm going to have to do it by hand. Or maybe it's time to invest in a big food processor.
Well, you know, now you're doing videos.
Oops, they're not moving. Semi-working. I consider that a failure, but let me get a mixing bowl. It stuck pretty good. That's one thing I don't like using food processor. So messy, actually. Hard to clean up. Actually, this can turn out pretty good, actually, because you don't want all the meat to be almost like disappear into turn into paste. Mm-hmm. You know, we're not trying to make shrimp ball. We're trying to make wonton mixture. So you see that? That's actually about the consistency that you could use to make a shrimp and pork bowl.
So with making the shrimp and pork balls, what do? You just kind of like make a little ball and drop it in boiling water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a broth. So I'll put the rest of the pork in there. We'll still have to do it in 2 different batch, but that's good. Okay, we've got that in there. And put the... This is chopped ginger with warm water to get the ginger flavor out. If you want just the flavor, just put the water. But if you don't mind eating into bits and pieces of ginger, then you could put that in there. So we'll just go with the water. Couple, 2-3 tablespoons of that. And salt. So that's about half teaspoon. And pepper is, dash, whatever. You like more, you put more. You don't like it, don't put any. And a couple of drizzle of sesame oil. And some soy sauce. And then what you need to do is you need to incorporate all the liquid in there. Mm-hmm. And stir it in like in the same direction. You see that liquid already disappeared. And what you do is when you do it like this, you actually introducing not just the seasoning but the liquid into your mixture. So that way, when you cook them, they don't get all dried up. You know. And you want any cilantro?
Sure. Now that I like cilantro, because growing up I always thought cilantro tastes like soapy water. I don't know about anybody else, but I've actually grown to like cilantro, actually quite a bit.
And cilantro actually supposedly has antibacterial, antiviral properties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We always put chopped cilantro in our soup.
I don't know what changed. I don't know, if my taste buds changed or you just forced it on me. I don't know.
Well, as a kid, there's a certain things I don't like garlic and green onion. As a kid, I hate green onion, but I always said my body is smarter than me, so my body start liking it, and then if you want, like this is good enough, but some people would say that that's not enough liquid in there. So I'll use half of this pork bone broth and we'll see what happens. Okay, see how much liquid in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see if we could incorporate that into it. Look.
Mm-hmm. Looks like it's getting incorporated pretty good.
Okay, now we could go ahead and make some wonton so that we could keep this video short.
And you didn't want to open them ahead of time because it would dry out, right?
Yeah, they dry out real quick. So you see how thin they are? That you could almost... Can you see my hand in the background?
Mm-hmm.
They actually have... I think the Hong Kong style is even thinner than that. Which next time I'll get the Hong Kong style instead. So there's a couple different ways of making it. This is what I have learned when I went long time ago when I used to work in the Chinese restaurant. I had to help make wonton. So this is what you do. You put some on one corner, and you take it back, and you use your knife to push it back, and then just roll it. And you take some little bit water from one corner, and that's it. That's one way to make it.
We might have to see that again.
Okay.
I think your hands were kind of in the way of you making it.
Okay. No problem. Let's move that out of the way so you can see it. Okay, one more time. Like this. And take your pork and take the knife tip and push it back.
Uh-huh.
And then just roll it, and then take your liquid, whatever the type of liquid.
You put it on the edges.
Mm-hmm. And then that's it. Right?
Wow.
But
okay.
if you have even the thinner ones, thinner wonton skin, here, let me show you a couple other different ways. Some some would take the meat and they just smear it and they just go like this.
Wait, okay.
Basically, just like that.
We need to see that again.
So, here. I never make it this way, but I saw it.
That looks easy, but...
Yeah. Basically, you just smear it, right? And then you just take it, and then...
Almost like you're folding it into your hand?
Yeah, that's it, see? Like turn into a little pouch.
Okay.
You know? But this way is... That's how they did it on the street in Taiwan, you know, because nobody had time to make pretty stuff like that, you know.
Now, when you get wonton soup, is that how it's usually looking, I think?
In Taiwan, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but, you know, this is a restaurant in Mississippi that I learned how to make.
Ah, okay.
Okay, I think that's, and the owner was from Hong Kong, so maybe that's the way they make it. But in Taiwan, they do it this way.
Still tastes just as good.
And so really don't matter which way you do, is that make sure that the mixture, the meat that you choose is what you like. And then shrimp actually imparts certain flavor. Not to say that you have to have shrimp. Actually, some of the best pork wonton I have, it's nothing but pork and chopped green onion and salt, maybe a little bit white pepper, and sesame oil, and that's it. You know, so you could keep it as simple as you want, or as elaborate as you want. The reason why I started using carrots and onion is when I first came to the United States, there wasn't that much green onion available. You know, it's almost like it's hard to find green onion, and garlic was very expensive, and I don't have anything to fill up, you know. So I said, we're trying to make my pork last, you know, so I put extra onion and carrots in it. And turned out pretty good.
Now you can add, you could do shrimp and crab meat too if you wanted to, right?
Oh, yes. Crab meat, actually, you know, like snow crab, king crab, whatever, you know. But of course, those are kind of expensive now, you know. If you have extra, that, like, say, if you have cooked some king crab or snow crab, and you couldn't finish it, or even regular blue crab. Remember we did it before with the blue crab,
right?
And that you could just, you know, mix everything and like you usually do, and then you put you pick your crab meat out of the crabs and kind of break it up into little pieces or chop it up or whatever, and then you mix it in with the meat mixture. Very, very good. So anyhow.
All right. So we'll come back when you get a plate full, or when you're getting ready to cook them.
Well, when we're ready to cook.
Okay. All right. We'll be back.
Well, remember those wonton that we made the other day? And I have so much meat mixture that I was gonna make gyoza. I just chopped some cabbage into it, except time ran out of hand, and then we wind up having enough items that we could make the shabu shabu in Japanese or fire pot. This is what's almost like you could call it fondue, and let me get chopsticks. Get a pair of chopsticks.
Basically, it's broth with vegetables cut up.
See, here's the broth.
Different types of vegetables.
Here's the broth. I have.
And this is bone broth?
No, actually, I have chicken thigh and chicken leg, and carrots and celery and garlic, and some celery seed, and just make the broth out of that. And then right here, I have Chinese cabbage. Got some corn in there. Got some tomato at the bottom, and that's gonna be my base. You know, and I got the stem part of the Chinese cabbage in there, and then the leaves are right there.
Right.
That cooks in no time.
Yeah, the leaves cook in no time. This takes longer.
This takes longer, and they taste better when it's cooked a long time in the broth. So we got that going.
So what you're going to do is you're going to make meatballs?
Yeah, it's a shrimp and pork ball together, you know. And I took that same filling, and what I did is I mixed some sweet potato starch into it.
Oh, okay.
I guess it's supposed to make it more bouncy, more like, you know, instead of mushy.
Chewy?
It'll be more toothy or But anyway, the way you make it is you take a spoon. Oh, here, let me see. Let me get that off this. How you do it is you take a regular spoon and you take a handful. I'm not very good at this. This is like second or third time I make this. So you dip it in the broth, but it's not boiling. It just needs to be hot, right? And then you go like this, and you drop it in there. Oops.
You need splash.
Yeah, and it's splashed. So you basically just kind of like roll it up and squeeze it out. There you go. Didn't splash this time.
And
they'll flow when they're done.
Oh, getting fogged up. Sorry.
One more like that. And then you just keep doing it until they all get in there. And once you got them all in there, then you just kind of bring it to boil, and then they're cooked. And then you could put them in there, or you could make it in just a plain soup.
Now the wontons, basically, you know, you could take the wontons and you could put them in this also. Mm-hmm. Or if you wanted to have your own like chicken broth or whatever kind of broth, you could always just put them in the broth and you get your wonton soup, right? Mm-hmm. Or you can pan fry them.
Yep. Or you could make the meatball soup.
Yeah, you could do the same thing with what you're doing now.
All right. Let me show you one that almost done. See, that's what it looked like now. Mm-hmm. But that's not quite done yet. All right.
It does become more bouncy.
We'll show you when it's all done.
All right, guys, here we go. We got the shabu shabu. It's Japanese, basically. It's supposed to be like the sound that the meat makes, right? When it goes swashing around, it's like shabu shabu. But I don't know. I've never heard it make that sound.
But in Taiwan, we call fire pot.
Fire pot, okay.
Or huo is the fire, and guo is the pot. So, since the ingredients are hard to come by in small towns in the United States, so we make do with what we could get away with. And but we were able to go to Knoxville last week, pick up some of the Napa cabbage, and this is actually lotus roots. Let me show you. That's what it. This is cut in half and thinly sliced. They're very crunchy. I just happen to have it, have some left over, so I go ahead and save it for this purposes. And then we got broccoli, and you could have cauliflower, and then there's that meat and shrimp ball that we just made.
And those look good.
And then here's the meat. Here's the dipping sauce. The dipping sauce is made of they call it barbecue sauce, but it's a basically it's almost like a paste that made from grind up dry shrimp and dry anchovies and all kinds of seasonings. That mix kind of looks dark. But since we are running out, so what I did is I put chopped garlic, ginger, and green onion and cilantro in there to bulk it up, and then I mix it with soy sauce, and the Vietnamese hot garlic pepper sauce, and then some sesame oil, and then egg yolk. Egg yolk is a must. It helps the coat anything that you dip in it. It'll coat your meat or shrimp or whatever you want. And when I was in South Dakota, my friend, she even used chicken gizzard and liver, just basically anything you want. The only thing that gets cooked in the pot at the beginning is the cabbage, the things that require a long time to cook, and like say the corn for extra flavor, and then the lotus does take a little bit longer to cook, and you get that going.
Pretty much anything that you want to have in there that actually would take long.
Yeah, and it won't get
won't get soggy,
get
won't
overcooked.
break down, overcooked. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's cover that back up for now, and then let's turn the burner on. Here's the butane, and we put that in. Make sure that is pushed in, because when you don't push in, see, it don't it doesn't
Doesn't
connect.
Mm-hmm.
So you push it and it connects. Then you're good. All right, then you cover it, and then let's turn it. So there you go. Let's fire that up.
Now, what other ingredients you got out here that we're going to put into it?
And then we got the peeled shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly freezer burned, but it's still good. And usually we also thinly slice the beef, pork, lamb, and any kind of seafood you want. You know, squids, octopus, you name it. Anything that you want, you could put in. But everything else would be raw, except the meatballs, or the shrimp balls, or fish balls, whatever. And but we had to make our own because the ones that they sell in store nowadays is just almost like nothing but starch in there, to where I get a headache from it. And
Too much carb.
Yeah, too much carb
on the
in
side
it.
of carb.
Yeah, and since I kind of pinched my finger last night, I couldn't slice the pork that I have, but luckily I was able to buy these shaved beef.
Mm-hmm. And that works just as well.
That works just as well. So, you know, like I say, do what you can, and, you know, whatever you want, whatever works for you. You don't have to have meat if you don't want to. You could have nothing but vegetables, but then again, that's no fun then. Anyhow.
Alrighty. Thanks, guys. We're about to enjoy this.
Oh, hold on. And then here's a cheating tool.
Oh.
That when we put the shrimp or whatever in there, we could use that to scoop it out. Like, you know, in this case, you know, you could scoop out the cabbage.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times people would eat this with rice. They'll eat, you know, like dip the ingredients into the items, I should say, into the sauce, and then you eat it over rice. But we tried not to eat too much carb.
So at this moment, we're gonna get it boiled again. So we could go ahead and put some broccoli in there, and put some shrimp in there. And the meat is so quick. When we get this all done, then we could put the meat in there.
All right, we'll come back when it's basically ready to start eating. All right, it's looking pretty good. So, what do we got here?
This is I forgot to introduce this. This is kind of new to me. It's called mung bean noodles. You know, the mung bean is the beans that they grow into bean sprouts. Well, this noodle is made from that mung bean flour.
Mm.
They kind of
wow, okay.
bouncy, chewy, you know. And usually what we do is we put it in there to substitute the some of the starch that you might be missing. Like for me, I don't react to the mung bean starch.
Right, as you would do rice or potato.
Yeah. And you can see like that, right? The shrimp, it's basically done. These are pink shrimp, so when they turn pink, they are done. So you could put them. Oh, and here's the sauce that after it's mixed together.
This is the sauce after it's mixed up. Now,
and then you dip it in the sauce, like that, and then you eat it.
Okay. Now show us how quickly this meat.
Okay.
See how thin it is. Thin is the key. Because once you put it in, it doesn't take but a few seconds to basically.
See,
it's cooked.
If you want a medium, oops, few seconds and it's already well done. There you go. That's how you cook it.
Yes.
And then you could meatball was already cooked.
You're warming up the meatballs. You're cooking the shrimp, cooking the broccoli.
And broccoli is almost done too.
Yeah.
You know, some people like it crunchy, some people like it more well done. So you take it out as you desire. And then the cabbage, you know.
And what's the longest time we've eaten this?
Oh, yeah. Remember at that time that we invited the sailors that works for me. We invited 13 and nobody showed up.
And we were eating this for
2 weeks.
2 weeks. You can keep this going for as long as you want. All you got to do is just kind of like reboil the broth.
It's
right?
the way you do it, the way ancient way of in Taiwan. You know, you don't have refrigerator, so anything left over, especially soup, you reheat it. Once you reheat it, it kills all the germs or whatever, and then they'll stay good until next day. And then, you know, if you start, you cook it up, you know, you boiled it, and then you eat, and then you still have leftover, then you boil it again. If you keep doing that, then that pot almost never spoil. We did it for like 2 weeks, but after that, I was so sick and tired of it.
Yes, okay. All right, we're going to enjoy this, so we'll see you later.